Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of United States coins where history, rarity, and unexpected mistakes come together to create extraordinary value. Today, we are going to explore the incredible story of the 1995 D Roosevelt 1 dime, a coin that on the surface looks like an ordinary 10-cent piece, but because of its errors, minting mistakes, and Mintmark anomalies, it has been valued as high as $11 million, making it one of the most remarkable and mysterious coins to ever leave the Denver Mint. For many people, a dime is just loose change, a coin often tossed into a jar or left at the bottom of a pocket, but sometimes what appears to be insignificant holds a story worth millions. That is exactly the case with this legendary 1995 D dime, and today we will carefully unfold every detail about why this tiny coin has achieved such fame and how small imperfections can transform an ordinary coin into an irreplaceable treasure. The story begins in 1995, a year when the US Mint was producing billions of circulating coins across its facilities. Denver was responsible for striking a large share of dimes that year, each carrying the D Mint mark to distinguish them from Philadelphia or San Francisco issues. At that time, Roosevelt dimes had already been in circulation for nearly 5 decades since their introduction in 1946, honoring the memory of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Most 1995 D dimes are worth only their face value of 10 cents, and even in brilliant uncirculated condition, they generally command only modest premiums for collectors. But every once in a while, an extraordinary mistake happens during the minting process, and that is where our $11 million dime enters the story. Collectors know that errors and anomalies can be the lifeblood of coin collecting. While normal strikes are plentiful, errors create uniqueness, and uniqueness creates value. The 1995 D dime gained legendary status because it represents a perfect storm of multiple types of mistakes. First, there are examples of this coin where the mint mark itself appears doubled or misplaced, a phenomenon that sparks immediate attention among collectors. A misplaced D can appear off-center or faintly struck, leading to speculation about whether it was hand-punched in error or improperly aligned during the minting process. Some examples show what appears to be a repunched mint mark, with a ghost-like shadow of an earlier strike beneath the final D. Mint mark anomalies like these are always fascinating, because until 1990, mint marks were hand-punched into dies, and even after the process became automated, occasional irregularities slipped through. The 1995 D dime provides one of the most dramatic examples of this, fueling theories about how and why these mistakes occurred, but mint mark issues are not the only reason this dime has gained astronomical value. Some surviving examples also display die errors, such as doubling on the date or lettering. Double die coins occur when the hub that impresses the design onto the die shifts slightly between impressions, creating the appearance of doubled or overlapping features. On the 1995 D dime, there have been reports of doubling particularly noticeable on the word Liberty or on the numbers of the date. To a casual observer, these doubling effects might look like nothing more than a smudge or imperfection, but to an experienced numismatist, they represent a major variety worth enormous premiums. When doubling is bold and clear, it can transform a dime into a 6- or 7-figure treasure, and in the case of this coin, the combination of doubling with mint mark anomalies has led to truly staggering values. Another aspect to consider is striking errors. The minting process involves placing blank planchets between dies under extreme pressure, and any misalignment can produce unusual results. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, or even multiple strikes can turn a common dime into a collector's dream. Some known 1995 D dimes have surfaced with dramatic off-center strikes where parts of the design are missing, or with clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is absent due to a cutting mistake at the mint. Each of these errors alone could make a coin valuable, but when combined with other anomalies, the coin enters a new level of rarity. Imagine finding a 1995 D dime with both a double die and a misaligned mint mark, struck off-center on a clipped planchet. The probability of such a piece existing is astronomically small, which is exactly why the few known examples have fetched values in the multi-million-dollar range. One of the most intriguing theories surrounding the $11 million dime is the possibility of transitional or experimental planchets being used. Occasionally, mints test new metal compositions or mistakenly strike coins on planchets intended for other denominations. A famous example is the 1943 copper cent, struck when the mint was supposed to be producing steel cents. If a 1995 D dime was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a foreign coin blank or even a cent or quarter planchet, it would immediately become one of the rarest coins in existence. Numismatists have documented cases of dime designs appearing on cent-sized planchets or even nickel planchets, creating spectacular error coins. If a surviving 1995 D dime displays such characteristics, its value could easily reach and even surpass $11 million. The cultural and collector value of this coin is magnified by its story. Coin collecting thrives on the romance of rarity, the idea that somewhere out there, in a pocket of spare change or in a forgotten coin jar, a life-changing treasure might be hiding. The 1995 D dime embodies this perfectly. It teaches collectors and non-collectors alike that the smallest details can have the biggest impact. For decades, enthusiasts have scoured rolls of dimes, hoping to uncover one of these extraordinary errors. Many have reported minor anomalies, such as weak strikes or small dyed chips, but the few coins with dramatic doubling and Mintmark errors have become the stuff of legend. To understand why collectors assign such astronomical value to this dime, we need to explore the psychology of rarity. When there are billions of normal coins in existence, the few that stand out as unique command extraordinary attention. The law of supply and demand dictates that the fewer available examples, the higher the price willing collectors will pay. The 1995 D dime with verified errors and Mintmark mistakes has become a trophy piece, one of those coins that even world-class collections cannot easily acquire. When such a coin appears at auction, bidding wars erupt, and values skyrocket far beyond what most would think possible for a 10-cent piece. This explains how a coin of such humble origins can legitimately be worth $11 million. The Denver Mint itself has a history of producing some notable errors. Because of its high volume of production, small mistakes occasionally escape detection. In 1995, millions of dimes rolled off the presses in Denver, but the few that bore striking anomalies went unnoticed until they found their way into circulation or collector hands. By the time they were discovered, these mistakes had already become nearly impossible to trace back to their origin. This adds a layer of mystery to the story, because no one knows exactly how many error dimes of this type exist. Some estimate only a handful, while others speculate that undiscovered examples may still be out there waiting to be found. The possibility that anyone could stumble across such a coin keeps the legend alive and fuels the passion of countless treasure hunters. When evaluating the 1995 D dime, collectors look closely at its condition, since grade can dramatically affect value. A circulated example with visible wear may still be worth hundreds of thousands, but an uncirculated example with sharp details and strong luster could reach into the multi-million-dollar range. Professional grading services play a crucial role here, certifying the authenticity of the error and assigning a grade that reassures buyers. A top-grade error coin with dramatic doubling and Mintmark anomalies is where we see the staggering $11 million valuations appear, especially when such a coin is unique or the best-known specimen. Beyond errors and anomalies, the 1995 D dime is also fascinating because of its place in numismatic history. By the mid-1990s, technology at the mint was improving, and large-scale mistakes were becoming less common than in earlier decades. This makes significant errors from 1995 even more remarkable, since they occurred at a time when quality control was supposed to be stronger. In this sense, the coin represents a last hurrah of sorts for spectacular minting blunders, a reminder that even in an age of precision, human error and mechanical mishaps still slip through the cracks. Collectors also compare the 1995 D dime to other famous US coin errors. The 1955 double die cent is a classic example, instantly recognizable by its bold doubling. The 1975 no S proof dime is another, one of the rarest modern US coins, with only a couple known. Each of these coins shares the same formula of rarity plus error plus story. The 1995 D dime fits squarely into this tradition, joining the ranks of legendary coins that collectors dream about. Its value is not just in the metal or even the error itself, but in the narrative it carries, a dime worth $11 million because of the extraordinary and unlikely chain of events that produced it. The search for one of these dimes has inspired collectors worldwide. Stories circulate of individuals finding rare errors in circulation, and that possibility fuels endless hope. Imagine the thrill of turning over a dime, noticing something Today, as we take a fascinating journey into the world of United States coins, where ordinary-looking pieces of change sometimes hide extraordinary stories of rarity, mistakes, and incredible value. In today's discussion, we will be exploring the 2007 P1 dime, a coin that on the surface is worth only 10 cents, yet certain rare examples of this coin have been valued at as much as $6 million because of minting errors, mistakes, and unique characteristics that make them one of the most valuable modern dimes ever discovered. This story is not just about a piece of metal but about history, chance, human error, and the excitement that comes from realizing that something so small could be worth so much. So let us dive into the details and uncover why a 2007 P dime could be worth millions, and why collectors around the world are always searching their pocket change for treasures like this. When we look at the 2007 P dime, it might seem like just another coin struck by the Philadelphia Mint, featuring Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. It was struck in the usual clad composition, consisting of a copper core sandwiched between nickel layers. Hundreds of millions were produced that year, and the vast majority of them are still circulating in everyday transactions today, sitting unnoticed in coin jars, purses, or tucked away in drawers. However, within this massive mintage, mistakes happened, and those mistakes created rare anomalies that transformed a regular 10-cent coin into a collector's dream. The Philadelphia Mint has long been known for producing high volumes of coins, and when coins are produced at such speed, sometimes things don't go perfectly. Dies can clash, mint marks can be misplaced or doubled, planchets can be wrong or defective, and striking pressure can vary. Each of these factors can create unusual coins that deviate from the standard design, and it is precisely these deviations that collectors and numismatists value most. For the 2007 P dime, several categories of errors and possibilities make it so special and explain how certain examples could reach valuations as high as $6 million. Let's start by looking at one of the most exciting types of errors, the double die error. A double die occurs when the hub that impresses the design onto the die shifts slightly between impressions, resulting in doubling of the design on the coin itself. Collectors prize strong double dies where details such as the lettering, numbers, or features of Roosevelt's profile appear doubled. On the 2007 P dime, reports of double dies include doubling on the word Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or on the date 2007 itself. Sometimes the Mintmark P appears slightly doubled, making it an even more unusual variety. Strong examples of double dies can skyrocket in value, particularly if they are well preserved in mint state condition. Another category of error that can make the 2007 P dime extremely valuable is the off-center strike. This occurs when the planchet, or blank coin, is not properly aligned within the press during striking. The result is a coin with the design shifted to one side, sometimes so dramatically that part of the design is missing. Collectors value off-center strikes most when a large portion of the design is missing but enough remains visible to identify the coin clearly, including the date and mint mark. An off-center strike on a 2007 P dime where Roosevelt's face is partly missing or the reverse torch is incomplete could command huge premiums, particularly in higher percentages of off-centering. Then there is the possibility of wrong planchet errors. Sometimes a blank intended for another denomination accidentally finds its way into the coining press. Imagine a dime struck on a cent planchet, or even more dramatically, on a foreign coin planchet that the mint was producing for another country at the time. These are extremely rare, but when they occur, collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums. A 2007 P dime struck on the smaller planchet of a cent or even on a clad planchet meant for a quarter could easily be one of those multi-million-dollar rarities. Mintmark anomalies are another source of fascination. Since the Philadelphia Mint uses the P mint mark, unusual variations involving this letter are highly collectible. Sometimes the mint mark can appear repunched, meaning it was punched into the die more than once, leaving shadows or doubling of the letter P. Other times it may be misplaced, tilted, or partially missing due to a filled die. These small changes are significant in numismatics because they represent direct evidence of human error in the minting process. For the 2007 P dime, rare mint mark anomalies could transform the coin into a highly sought-after treasure worth far more than its 10-cent face value. Die clashes are another interesting error that can occur. This happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, causing parts of the design from one side of the coin to be impressed into the other die. When a planchet is later struck with those dies, faint outlines of the opposite design appear on the coin. A 2007 P dime with Roosevelt's profile faintly visible on the reverse or parts of the torch appearing on the obverse would certainly be a rare and highly collectible piece. We can also consider the possibility of broad strikes and partial collar errors. A broad strike occurs when the coin is struck without the collar die properly in place, allowing the metal to spread out more than usual, producing a wider, thinner coin without the reeded edge. Partial collar errors, sometimes called railroad rim errors, occur when the coin is only partially held by the collar during striking, resulting in a distinctive rim appearance. Collectors find these highly appealing, and if such errors occur on a 2007 P dime with clear date and mint mark, the value can increase dramatically. The condition of the coin plays a crucial role as well. A 2007 P dime that has survived in pristine, uncirculated condition with a rare error is far more valuable than one that has circulated heavily and shows wear. Collectors often grade coins on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect coin. Error coins in high mint state grades, especially those certified by professional grading services, can command astronomical prices. If a unique or spectacular error coin from 2007 exists in MS67, MS68, or even higher, it could very well explain the multi-million-dollar valuations attached to some of these dimes. Another reason these coins can be so valuable is their rarity. Not every year produces error coins that survive in the wild. Sometimes errors are caught at the mint and destroyed before release. Other times, a few slip out but go unnoticed for years until a collector discovers them. With the 2007 P dime, very few verified major errors are known, which makes each surviving example even more valuable due to its scarcity. Rarity combined with demand is always the formula for high coin values. Historical context also plays into the appeal. The Roosevelt dime has been in continuous production since 1946, honoring the 32nd President of the United States. While most people overlook it in daily transactions, collectors see it as an enduring symbol of American history. When a rare error occurs within such a widely used series, it stands out even more, drawing attention not just from US collectors but from numismatists around the world. The idea that a common-looking dime from 2007 could secretly be worth millions excites the imagination and fuels the hunt for hidden treasures. Let us also consider transitional errors, which occur when the mint changes compositions or designs and leftover planchets from the previous type are accidentally used. While the dime's composition did not change in 2007, mistakes sometimes happen with leftover blanks or experimental planchets. If even one 2007 P dime was struck on the wrong metallic composition, such as a silver planchet from earlier decades or a foreign alloy, it could be worth millions due to its uniqueness. Collectors also talk about struck-through errors, where a foreign object comes between the die and planchet during striking. This could be a piece of cloth, wire, or grease, leaving an impression or void in the design. While these are usually minor curiosities, dramatic struck-through errors can be extremely valuable, especially if they cover major portions of the design in a way that is visually striking. A 2007 P dime with such an error would be a prized addition to any collection. The allure of coins like the 2007 P dime lies not only in their monetary value but in the sense of discovery they offer. Imagine finding one in your change from a store, realizing you hold in your hand a $6 million coin that most people would overlook as just a dime. Stories of such discoveries have happened before with other coins, such as the 1955 double die cent or the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter. These tales inspire collectors to keep searching, knowing that treasures might still be out there in circulation. Over the years, many ordinary people have stumbled upon rare coins purely by accident. Someone might clean out a drawer and find a strange-looking dime, or a cashier might notice a misaligned coin. Once these are brought to the attention of experts, their true value is revealed. The 2007 P dime worth millions could very well be sitting in someone's pocket right now, waiting to be recognized. That is the magic of numismatics. The coin market also drives up values for unique pieces. Collectors are willing to compete at auctions for the rarest examples, and when two determined bidders face off, prices can soar far beyond initial estimates. This competitive environment has led to record-setting sales, and the 2007 P dime